Gents, thanks very much for coming along today. Delighted to announce that Graeme Murty, who you've got to know over the last couple of months, has been appointed manager until the end of this season. The board has been delighted with the way that Graeme's risen to the task over the last few weeks, and really just to show our faith in him, and also to give us a bit of certainty through to the end of the season. We think that's the right decision we'd like to take. So we're here today. Mark's here as well, Mark Allen, Director of Football. We've got Graeme here. Any questions, please fire away.
Stewart, firstly, how tricky a decision was this from the point of view of the fact that recently you pursued a manager who turned the club down, and now you're coming up to the winter break? How tricky a decision or how awkward a decision was this for the board to make in some respect?
It's not been awkward at all, because we've had the opportunity to see Graeme in action, and he's performed well. He's dealt very well with yourselves, in terms of how he's handled press and the non-footballing issues that go with the job. So we've got full confidence in the job that Graeme will be able to do.
He was obviously sitting next to you, so with great respect to you, Graeme, was this a decision that you didn't think you would be making initially, because he was an interim charge, and the feeling coming out of the club originally was that he maybe wasn't ready for the job?
I think it's clear we obviously looked at Derek, Derek McInnes a few weeks ago, and so that indicates where we were then. But the confidence in Graeme, we've seen the way he's handled the situation, and he's risen to the task very, very well. So that has given us the confidence, it's given the whole board the confidence that Graeme's more than capable of taking us forward. Is
it fair to say this will be then reassessed at the end of the season, potentially with a view to Graeme getting it on a longer basis, if it goes well?
Graeme's in pole position going forward, he's the man in possession of the job, so that goes without saying that Graeme's there and doing the job. If he continues to do well, then we may have a very easy decision to take at the end of the season.
Graeme, is it a daunting task?
It is, but it's my task now. I always had the feeling initially that I was waiting. As you said, I was an interim charge. It's now my task. I've got a set term that I can work towards, and I'm really positive and really thankful for the opportunity.
What difference will it make for you now that you've got until the end of the season and the uncertainty of who the manager may or may not be? What difference does that now make for you?
It makes a difference in that I can start to put my stamp on little things around the training ground, around our daily practices, and I can get some clarity now into the players as to how I want things to be done. And for me, that just takes a load off my mind. I'm not trying to prepare the team for someone else to look at. I'm trying to prepare the team to try and play and be successful how I would like it to look.
You've obviously been involved in caretaker capacity twice, but also in coaching with the under-20 setup. Was it ever an aspiration, ambition of yours to become a manager?
It was something in the dim future, if it was. This has brought it closer to being, because it's happening to me now, far earlier than I thought it would. And this is just a really unbelievable opportunity for me now, and I want to address it as that. I want to see it as that. It's a fantastic opportunity. It's a brilliant club, and something I want to grab with both hands.
When were you first asked to take on to the end of the season? How did that conversation play out?
Pretty much as you just said. I talked to Mark, and Mark said the board have come to me. We'd like you to take the club forward until the end of the season. How do you feel about that? And as I've said previously when asked, there's no way I could turn down A, the stature and the scale of the club, but B, the level of support that I've had from the board.
Have you been given any targets or expectations placed upon you in terms of where the team is to finish this season and things like that?
I have my own targets, I have my own thoughts on that. Those conversations will be ongoing. As far as I'm concerned, as it says in the statement, we want to finish as high up the league as is possible, and we want to have a really successful cup competition.
You'll obviously get the January window coming up, but it says in the statement here that you're going to have the final say on player recruitment. Have you been able to even start identifying targets here? What stage are we at?
Those targets, as I've said previously, have been updated, they've been ongoing. Mark and his recruitment group have done a really good job in identifying targets, and then we are moving forward. It's not right to talk about individuals at the moment, but individuals have been identified, and we're moving on those.
Mark, in the sense that you've just been having to firefight over the last few weeks, is this now an opportunity for you to put your real stamp on it and take the club and the team in the direction that you really see it going?
I was in caretaker role, making sure that the club were in a positive place for someone coming in, I think the club are in a positive place. For myself now, it's up to me to make sure that at the end of the season we continue to be moving forward and we have a positive second half of the season. That's my only aspiration right now, is to make sure that we go and execute at the highest level as possible in the second half of the season, as it always has been. It's just over an extended period now.
Graeme, can I ask, given that Rangers' pursuit of Derek McInnes became quite public, how does it feel to be taking on the role knowing that?
I was in post for that happening. I saw it happening. Derek made a decision that we fully respect. I now have an opportunity because of that decision to manage a wonderful football club. Being in and see it happening doesn't change my feelings about the football club or my feelings about the job. I think this is one of the top jobs in British football, and I'm remarkably grateful for the board for this opportunity.
Sure, Mark, can I ask why it's until the end of the season and not longer?
I think it's the natural progression from where we've been. You know, we want to see it. We want to actually work with Graeme and give him all the support we can, and let's just take it a step at a time. You know, we've gone from Graeme's done a wonderful job in the role he's been in. It's been the last couple of months, but let's take it. You know, we'll extend that for another 6 months, 5 months, and actually take it through till then.
So is this therefore, is it fair to say, Mark, then that Graeme's position will be reviewed come the end of the season?
I think everything is ongoing. I think, as Stewart has alluded to, I think it's a great opportunity, and Graeme has welcomed that opportunity. We're all excited about the fact that he's going to take that on, and I think it's something that we will review in line with Graeme. Graeme has to to look at that as well in his own situation, and the whole thing will be sort of done as a collective rather than a sort of something on the side.
First chance we've had to speak to you, Mark, about the recruitment process. Can you just spell out, because you were the man heavily involved, what was involved in the recruitment process
Of
the manager from day one since Pedro Caixinha
I
left?
think that's been sort of articulated several times in terms of there was a process we went through in terms of identifying potential candidates. There were strategies provided to the board in terms of different directions we could go in. The board was free to make that decision in the direction it saw fit to want to move. We made that move, and we're now here as a result of that move, maybe not working out as originally planned, but we're back to the next phase of that, and we're all very pleased with the decision the board has made to put Graeme in charge of the team.
Is it a regret it's taken this long, this time, to get to this stage where you can give Graeme the reins for the rest of the season? That there's been uncertainty over this last sort of 3, 4.
Yeah, look, in a perfect world, you would expect things to be maybe a little bit more seamless, if you like, and perhaps a little quicker. That's not always possible, and there are a number of things that may be sort of going on in and around situations that don't make those decisions easy and quickly, or able to be taken quickly. So in a perfect world, yes, maybe we would wish to have got to an earlier decision, but when you're looking at all the characteristics, the best thing is to make the right decision.
In terms of player recruitment, Mark, how crucial is it now to work with a permanent manager in place rather than Graeme being an interim boss and bringing in a manager later on?
It's absolutely critical, and I think I've said it at the very early outset that the role of the director of football is many and several. It's not one specific area in particular, i.e. it's not just recruitment, it's not first team, it's a number of things, of which the first team is one and recruitment is one. So to have a first team sort of manager in place and permanent is exactly where we need to be, because ultimately the manager has to decide on those players. The scouting team will identify players, that's their job. They'll identify characteristics in terms of what we think we need as players who can play for Rangers, but ultimately it's the manager that has to say, I'm going to play that player. If we sign him, I'm going to play him. So he has to be the person that makes that decision.
Was there also a concern, Mark, that players wouldn't want to come to the club if there wasn't a permanent manager in place, and that's why you had to sort this out before January came along?
I wouldn't say not necessarily. Obviously, in an ideal world, yes, a player will want to know what manager he's playing for. So I come back to the original sort of answer, if you like, that in a perfect world, yes, you would want all those things in place. I don't think it was a factor in having to make that decision. We have to pick the right guy, and that is the most important thing. We've picked the right guy in our belief. You
were appointed after the bulk of the current squad was assembled. How would you assess the state of the current squad just now?
I think it's like everything, you're always looking to improve. I think I shouldn't be here if I'm not looking to improve on situations. I think the squad is more than capable of attaining the highest position we possibly can. My job is to bring success and bring, if you like, betterment, for want of a better word, to the whole squad moving forward. And I would say, you know, my real remit is, you know, let's look at what we build rather than inherit, but at the same time, you know, let's look to take us to a new level.
You're now ready to make offers for players to come January the 1st, and you're in a position that you can start looking ahead to rebuilding squad?
I think we've identified clearly those some targets that we would like to go after. They've been shared and rubber stamped, if you like, by the new manager, which is the right way to do things. And I think it's now for us to just rectify and solicit that with the board and make sure that we're all on the same page, and off we go.
How many additions?
I would like to comment on how many additions.
It says in the statement as well that Graeme will be bringing additional support. That in terms of, you know, additional coaching to the backroom staff. How many do you see in that sense coming in?
Potentially one. The staff I've had working with me all the way through, Colin Stewart, Jonathan Johansson, Craig Flanagan, and the physio staff have been exceptional. I just think it is appropriate at this time to help out those and myself with another pair of hands, another pair of eyes, and a different viewpoint on things, just to make sure we get things right and make sure that we push forward positively.
Would that be somebody that you've worked with before, or perhaps somebody that knows the club? You know, there was an instance with Pedro, he came in, he was looking at guys who previously sort of played for the club. That'll
be my decision going forward. It has to be someone that I'm comfortable working with. There's no good bringing someone in who knows the football club but sees football in a completely different manner. To myself and to the staff, we have to be able to work together, and that's the most critical thing, I think.
How important is the January window in terms of you getting a couple of weeks off the winter break? And I think the club are going to wait forward. How important is that going to be for you in terms of getting your ideas across and moving the club forward?
It's important for the players as well, because the players have been in so far for a long time with Europe. It's important for them to get a bit of bonding time, a bit of time where it's not in the humdrum and the hoi polloi of the season. We have to get away from that sometimes, and it'd be good just to go together as a squad and make sure we grow an identity together. I think if we do that, then that will have served its purpose.
Stuart, can I ask, after the Derek McInnes rejected the job at Ibrox, there was a statement made as well on behalf of Rangers. A lot of anger, both from Aberdeen and Stuart Milne, but from the Rangers fans as well, regarding that statement. There was no name put to the statement either. Who was the statement from, and is there any regret now about how that unfolded?
I think the whole situation when Derek, you know, we approached Derek, is we've drawn a line under that, you know, and as Will said, I think it's time to draw a line, move on. You know, we wish Derek all the best, and you know, and up the road, and it's just a case of moving on and looking forward rather than looking back.
But on hindsight, looking back at that, was that a regret? The statement?
I think it's a case of moving forward. I think that all happened 3 weeks ago, so I think it's time to move forward.
Do you think, though, Stuart, that Stuart Milne said that he felt that the club owed Derek an apology for that? Do you think that the relationship between the two clubs has been tarnished by what happened?
No, not at all. I mean, there's been various conversations since then, you know, so the relationships are fine at that level.
In terms of what the board now see as success this season, now that you have the next 6 months mapped out, as it were, what are the targets this season?
It's been as competitive as we can, Charles. I mean, it's the same targets we had at the start of the season. You know, we've still got a Scottish Cup to play for, and the league, there's all to play for in the league as well. So it's been as competitive as we can between now and the end of the season.
Graeme, Stuart and Mark said that, you know, it's an ongoing situation, hence why until the end of the season. Come the end of the season, will you also review your own position, whether you want it, if it was offered, longer term?
It's my job and the players' job to make ourselves irreplaceable. The players have to be irreplaceable in the first 11. I've always said that you should aspire to be the best you possibly can be. If I do the best job I can, hopefully I make it relatively simple for the board moving forward, but that will be assessed, as Mark said and as Stuart said, in an ongoing basis, and we'll do that together as to whether it's appropriate for the board, if it's appropriate for the club, and if we continue to move the club forward. If I can do that, then I will have been happy with my work.
In terms of tomorrow's game, is there a hope that this news will give the boys a lift after this point?
I hope the boys have got something to prove anyway from last week. We know that we weren't where we wanted to be, and we go into a busy period now with the potential to be close at the top of the league. We've got big games coming up, and players need to put in performances. We've talked about that already. This news hopefully won't distract them from that, hopefully, if anything, it should just give them a little bit of relaxation so they can go and express themselves a bit.
Just going back on that, sorry. So I was just going back on that, you said make yourself irreplaceable. Presumably then, you want the gig long term.
I think when you get an opportunity like this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to work as a manager at Rangers Football Club, and you don't just want to do it for a short period of time. If I am good at it, if I stand out at it, hopefully I can get to do it for longer. That is my aim. My aim is always to improve, always to leave the players in a better place, always to move my own career forward, to always to move my own practice forward. If I do that, then who knows where we can go.
Graham, just ask how the squad's shaping up ahead of the weekend.
Sorry?
How the squad's setting up?
We've got Ryan Jack obviously suspended, and the injured guys from before are still a while away, but everyone else is coming back and are available.
And you've signed Declan John permanently as well, so the first transfer's done.
And talking with the recruitment group, talking with Mark, Declan has some fantastic attributes. He's powerful, he's very, very, very quick, and hopefully we can match his own ambitions. I think he should have international ambitions, he should have ambitions to be at the top end of his position in this league, and if he can do that and continue to expand his potential, trying to meet that potential, then he could be a really, really good sign for the club.
Stuart, I appreciate time is against us and we don't often get the opportunity to speak to yourself, so if you don't mind me asking, the court session today announced that Dave King must make an offer to shareholders to the tune of £11 million. Will he do this?
I haven't spoken to Dave. I mean, that's an issue for Dave, really, and amongst the shareholder base, so it doesn't impact on us as a club and the day-to-day business of the club.
So it has no impact in terms of the share issue that was approved at the AGM?
No, it won't impact, but business as usual for the club and for the PLC, so we will just continue with our plans that we've got in place.
And if I may ask you, Stuart, you know, it was a point to Mark earlier about the length of time it's taken. Do you defend the club's stance and how long you've taken to nail this?
Someone once said to me, recruitment's an art rather than a science, you know, and it's more important to get the right man, and I think we've got the right man, you know, in place now to take the club forward. So, you know, life doesn't go in a straight line, man. We've all been in all different situations in our lives where there's twists and turns, and in this situation we're in a position where we're delighted that Graham's in charge, and he's delighted he's the man that will take us forward for the rest of the season.
And your response to those who might question the strategy, a few weeks ago you were saying Graham until the end of the year, a few weeks on, it's now until the end of the season.
Listen, people are always going to question your strategy in this job. That's the that comes with this job. You have to do what you believe in, and as a board, the board will be very strong in terms of what we're doing and how we take things forward. So we're very confident where we're sitting today.